What's a thing you do that you wonder whether other people do too? If other people suddenly feel disconnected from their body for no reason. I know the realization and depersonalization are associated with epilepsy, which I have, but sometimes it's so faint I can't tell if I'm having an episode, or if normal people also randomly become hyper aware of their body being in this particular place at this exact time doing this very thing and kind of get overwhelmed by all the details of it. I got this a lot as a kid, but not too much as an adult. I would just stare at my hands, mesmerized by the fact that I was having the subjective experience and the hands I was staring at were actually mine. For a few seconds I would be unable to move from the awe and terror of being a particular person in a particular place. Like the universal consciousness within me had woken up. Then after a few seconds, I would snap back to normal and just continue the habits of daily life. That's actually a really good explanation of this state that I often experience, but can't really put into words. Peel the skin of their lips off until they bleed. Drives my girlfriend insane. But yes, adamantly so. Sometimes, I feel the urge to lie down on the floor. I don't do it when people are around. But when I'm alone, I sometimes follow it and lie on the ground for a short while. Have full conversations/arguments in my head. Sometimes forget myself and say things out loud. Unnecessary kung fu moves while doing common household chores, often accompanied by kung fu sounds. How else are you supposed to practice if you're not picking the light switches to off? Lol, how about throwing that football through the window while trying to pee-butt it to a friend? Honestly, make a very detailed list for groceries. I know it might sound normal, but I have to include meals I'm making for the week. Add all the ingredients to the list and any snacks, drinks, whatever else I need, but in order. Starting from the moment I enter the store, I have the list separated produce/dairy/frozen. It keeps things tidy, and I can see what else I could need or missed. I go for non-perishable items first, frozen items next, and refrigerated items last. I huddle up the frozen items around the refrigerated ones. When checking out, I try to help out the grocery bagger by taking items out of the cart and placing them on the conveyor belt in an order I think that he or she would want them. I do this exact routine, even as far as huddling the frozen food around the refrigerated items. Also, I have 8 bedtime stories, scenarios that will never ever happen in real life. But I cannot sleep without thinking about one of them. Since I was 15, I'm 30 now. Sometimes I remember where did I stop the story the day before, and continue the storyline from there until I sleep. It's like watching 8 original movies that I have created in my mind with characters, scripts, clothes and everything over and over again. It started with me creating everything. Now I just close my eyes and watch. I usually fall asleep within 5 minutes maximum. Oh, thank God that somebody else is doing that. Even down to the outfits, makeup and surrounding sets. I once told an ex about these kind of little bedtime movies that are mostly fanfic that have spawned new lore, rules and characters, and he was just like, okay, weird but okay. I wonder if people see the same colors in the same way I do. I've been thinking this on and off since I was little. Also, my eyes are blue. Does someone with brown eyes or green eyes see colors differently to me? I wonder about other people's life, like what it must be like to be them and live their lives only regular people, though, like strangers I see at a grocery store, bank, etc. I think this is extremely healthy, and I wish people did this more. It's kind of the first step of empathy, right? First you have to wonder what other people's lives are like, and then you imagine yourself in their shoes. And I thought I was creepy for having such thoughts. Thanks for the positivity. Favor one side of my mouth when eating. I'm doing it because my teeth hurt. I did that for a long time in high school and ended up needing a root canal. If you've never had one, they really suck. Try to make an effort to go to the dentist. You'll end up needing to go anyway when it gets worse. So if you just go sooner, you'll save more pain, money, and maybe have less permanent damage. Does anyone else think they are about to die multiple times every day? I have no reason to think that, but for some reason I do anyways. No, but it sounds terrifying. It is. Imagine what words would look like if all letters were written on top of each other. The best words are the ones that would make a symmetrical pile. Like blood. Is pod a good one? I like how it is the same upside down. Scare myself on WebMD like once a week. I've taught myself to not look things up there after I convinced myself I was poisoned by the food delivery guy many years ago. I was so sure I was poisoned. I wrote up a final letter to my loved ones. Boy, I felt foolish when the sun rose the next morning, and I was a-okay if exhausted from staying up all night. The idea of calling 911 never crossed my mind. Anxiety makes you dumb. I live alone, but if I forget something in my bedroom before a shower and I'm naked, I'll put something on to go get it. I guess in case there's a serial killer waiting for me. Like if I have to run for my life out the building, at least I'll have some dignity maybe. I just take a baseball bat. No embarrassment if the intruder is a potato from now on. Plus, I'm the naked Batman then. Wonder why I'm inside my body and experiencing my perspective, and then wrapping my head around the fact that people have their own experiences and perspectives. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that there are other consciousnesses aside from mine, but I'm only experiencing mine and not others. It's kinda hard to explain, but that's the gist of it. Panic in a quiet hurry when the conveyor belt at the grocery store advances, but you haven't finished arranging all your items yet. Doing this is in all the is advanced mode. You would want to be extremely skilled. In my mind I count edges I see. Straight edges and frames. Rooms. Really anything with an edge that meets an edge. While I count my index finger moves with the addition. This is great practice for when you're older and completely insane. Too late. Every time I get a sudden shiver, especially while driving, or thought crosses my mind that I just died in that moment, in that place, in an alternate reality, or else I just hit continue and started from my last checkpoint lol. I once read that when you shiver randomly, it's because someone has stepped on a place where you will die. Sucks for people who die in the middle of a busy square. Sometimes I stare at an object while thinking, and then after I realize that I was staring at something, then I feel a bit weird, like, why the hell am I staring at that thing? When I'm thinking really hard I stare very intensely at things without actually seeing what I'm staring at. Can be very awkward when that thing happens to be a person. My sister told me that she was staring off into space and realized she was starting right at a guy's dick area, and then accidentally made eye contact with the guy when she realized it. Feeling awkward in public places, like I don't know how to describe it. I just feel out of place at times, or like I'm being weird, or like I question if I'm doing something right. Like I go to the store and I park and then I question if I parked weirdly, even though I parked fine, and then I wonder if anyone would judge my parking, so I sometimes repark. Then I go in the store and I feel out of place, like just awkward, like I'll be at checkout and I'll be thinking like, am I lined up in the right place? Being in public is just hoping I'm not weird to others. All of this. Plus I always feel like when I'm in a public place, people are looking at me and judging me. It gives me anxiety. I know it's not really happening, but deep down I feel it. I hate going into anywhere. I never finish the last cookie because I feel rude. I pretend like I'm Spider-Man and silently shoot webs all over the place so I can swing and get places quicker. Long hallways, between buildings, that kind of thing. I've been doing this as long as I can remember, and I'm now 47 years old. This is awesome, and I'm going to try it. Under my mask I make random faces. Me too. I thought no one could tell, but then I caught myself in a shop window and they definitely can. I get words, phrases, or weird ideas in my head right before I fall asleep. Most recently the idea of a scrambled egg water slide rolled around in my head until I fell asleep. Throw a little bit of Tabasco on there for the good slip and slide effect and I'm game. It's a date. Maybe. I don't wanna get covered again. I sing whatever words I speak when I'm alone. I sing most things, or relate what I'm saying to a song, and then sing that song to people as well. A sound that I can make in my head, like an earthquake. Does anyone else sometimes look at people's usernames online and wonder what those people might be like in real life? Lick the plate for any leftover sauce when eating alone at home. My dad taught me to do that. Use my fingers to count in binary. I do that. My father taught me when I was young. And I do it whenever I have to count more than 5 and less than 1024 things. I hate public toilet door handles for fear of people not washing their hands. When I'm exiting the toilet, instead of pulling the door handle, I found another way to open the door. Usually, there is a triangular 2-arm mechanism on the top left corner of the door that automatically closes the door when you leave. The same mechanism can open the door if you push it to the right. This saves me having to touch the handle. I usually pull my sleeve over my hand or use some other part of my shirt/jersey. Speaking our own kind of gibberish with my partner and sometimes almost having whole gibberish conversations. They don't mean anything, but they are good at conveying emotion without having to find words. Me and my daughter have several gibberish words or hand actions we use that no one else does. I also made up loads of words as a kid that I still use today. Trace random words on any surface using my fingers and trying to write it continuously, not cursive. Print it all caps with minimal hand lifting as possible. Like when trying to write do, I will start where D and O meet so that I can write it in one line. I do this but in cursive. I usually do it on my legs. Do other people feel as though they are having conversations with their pets? Like for me, I talk to my birds, and they reply in what feels like syllables of words, and in my mind I make words and interpretations of what they might be saying. Or am I just crazy? I very regularly do this with my cat. I think the emotion that him assigning his meows and the reason why I think has meowing are probably legit. For example, when I get home after being gone all night, I like to think has saying, "Where have you been? How could you leave me alone for so long?" And they'll say, "Yes, I know, I'm sorry, but I'm here now." And we'll go back and forth for a bit. My partner will also have back and forth conversations with my cat when they don't realize that I can hear them. So it's not just us. You know what? I sometimes pick my nose. I just don't understand how someone can just deal with that dealing of a literals not crystal jamming their kibbles. How the hell do those guys breathe? If I feel something in my nose that's bothering me, be it from irritation or minor suffocation, I will just remove it. That seems like the logical thing to do. Have you ever gone a while without picking your nose in dry weather, and a hard piece of snot forms in your nose canal and you accidentally move your facial muscles in such a way that it presses on the budger rock and it actually cuts you? That has happened to me. Or it gets so adhered to your nasal skin that when you do try to take care of it later, you accidentally tear your skin trying to get it off. These are the dangers of not frequently clearing your nose. If you wash your hands, it's no sin, I think. I have had to, and it's the worst. Trim an awkwardly long nipple hair every week. It's like it suddenly becomes 2-inch long overnight. Pluck it. Scream uncontrollably like a ducking Rex while you are alone to relieve some stress. I always keep exactly in mind where the north, east, south and west are. After a long drive, or even inside buildings without seeing the sun, I can tell you exactly where each direction is, since I keep in mind every corner I took. Make up imaginary worlds in my head to spend time in, because the real one sucks. I do this every night when I go to bed, and it lulls me right to sleep most nights. Sometimes the plot gets interesting, though, and then I have to change tracks because I can't go to sleep. Pull their shirt over their face when they're alone on their phone or computer. IDKY I do it. Always have, always will. Anyone else? How do you see? I guess I meant over my nose, not my whole face, lol. When I'm walking on large tiled floor, I try to connect my feet with as many tiles as possible by stepping on the corners and trying for a whole set of other tiles with each step. I try not to touch any lines at all when walking on tiles. It's quite hard on tiles that are either too big or too small, and in public I try to keep a normal gait as much as possible while doing so. Don't want to seem weird, you know. I'm the other way round. When I'm out walking, I intentionally step on one line to start a set, then count how many normal steps it takes to reach the next line. If the set is an odd number, it's better since the same foot isn't landing on the line each time. I've never really thought about it until I read this. I order my music on a USB stick by artist, and then by the year the album was released, I usually drive and listen to all songs on shuffle. When a new song first starts playing, I will purposefully not look at the display and I'll try to guess the artist, song name, album, and year it came out. I'll then check the display and rate myself on how close I was. Sometimes I'll see myself in the mirror and be like, what the duck, that's me, who is that person? I have no idea why it happens, but it just seems weird to like exit my head and see myself as more than just consciousness. Scream whenever I remember something embarrassing that made me laugh. I just got an image of someone deep in thought and just screaming like a tumor from the Big Les show. Scratch their butt and sniff to make sure it doesn't stink. Hesitate outside of a small restaurant because I'm simultaneously wondering if I can possibly find out what they serve without going in, so I can assess if I should eat there or not. But then I realize they don't have a visible menu from the window, so I pause and think for a second, should I go inside and ask for a menu, but then I decide no, that would seem too rude if I ended up deciding I don't want to eat there after already walking in. So I just keep walking and never even go in after having made awkward eye contact with a server from the sidewalk. Whenever I feel I'm about to nut, I slow down my pace of jerking off. In this way I'm able to fap for about 4 to 5 hours. 4 to 5 hours? Exclamation mark. Question mark? Yes. When you have no social life, this is how you spend your time. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.